Alright, so here we are. I'm going to go over the answer to topic A. So I've got right here 1, 2, 3, 2 on my one layer. So I've got 6 cubes there, but I notice I have 2 layers. So my first volume must be 12 cubic centimeters. Note that it already has the unit. I don't need to add that in to say that they're 1 centimeter cubed. So I might have done that if that wasn't there. Again, I've got that same base layer, so that must be 6, and I've got 2 more on top. So I have 8 as being the volume here. This is my original figure, so 6 plus 6 is 12, and then I've got 2 extra cubes, so I'm going to have 14 be my volume. This question was a lot more tricky because it's flattening down into what we call a net. So the figure is going to be folded up. If you imagine this comes up, and I have a little box. And I'm going to think how many cubes are going to fit. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd fit 12 cubes right here. And then I'm going to just multiply up by the number of layers I have. So I end up with 36. And my answer would include some kind of explanation. So I realized that the shaded part is the base. And then that you can multiply the base by the height to find volume. So I did 4 times 3 to find 12 as the volume of the base. Then multiplied by 3 to get 36 as the total volume. Alright, and then I'm on to question 3. This was a little more tricky. You could have clicked on Scratchpad as a tool to annotate. It says use the prisms to find the volume. Each cube represents 1 cubic centimeter. So my first thing was I'm looking at this and I'm realizing it's 1, 2, by 5, by 3. 5 times 2 is 10. I've got 3 layers of 10. So it means I have 30. It tells me here number of layers 3, the volume is 30. And the volume of each of these prisms is the same, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's 30. So that means that the number of layers is all that's changing. So that means that the dimensions of each layer must change. So I'm going to I can think of this as a division problem. 30 divided by 5 is going to equal 6. 2 times 15 equals 30. Now I can submit. I feel good about myself. It says I have 2 out of 4, but that's because this middle question needs to be graded. I just graded it. I've told you what the answers were. So on I go. Done with that. Now I can do topic B. So use a paper to show you work. This person's bought a pet turtle. This is just a matter of computing the numbers 3, 1, and 2. 3 times 1 is 3, times 2 is 6. So this next problem, I can go ahead and I've got to find the rectangular prism volume. So I can go ahead and compute these numbers, which will give me 48,000 centimeters. Now I've got to choose a next possible solution, and this is where it comes in useful to know that 1 centimeter cubed is the same as 1 milliliter. So these are the same. Now I need to find which is the other one that's the same. Well, milliliters are smaller than liters, so that cannot be correct. This cannot be correct because we know that's 48,000 centimeters. So I can't all of a sudden make my milliliters into the same amount of milliliters. It's 48 liters. So because there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. The next question tells us about this fish tank, and it's a rectangular prism. So the inside of the tank measures 24 inches in length, 12 inches in width, and 12 inches in height. The tank is filled with water to a height of 8 inches, so it's not filled all the way up 12 inches, it's only to 8. How many more cubic inches of water are needed to fill the tank to the top? So I'm going to do 12 minus 8 in order to find out what is still needed. That's 4 inches more of height. But remember, this is volume, so I still need to use those 2 other numbers. I'm going to multiply 24 by 10 by 4. When I do that, 10 times 4 is 40. 40 times 24 is 960. Move on to the last question. Here I'm having to do some detective work. I've got to find the dimensions, and then I've got to calculate the volume. So in the first one, prism A, which is at the top, we already know that the length is 10. It's very clear. Now the width is the same as B, so that means it's 4. For the height of A, I notice that 18, well, look, 9 is half of 18, so it must be 9. Now I can go ahead and do 9 times 4 times 10, which is pretty straightforward as being 360. Tell me, look, prism B. Well, I already know that the height is 9 because it's clearly on there pretty much. It's also showing me the width as being 4, so now it's just a matter of finding that length. And what I did here is I realized that the length of A is 10, and then there's this little measurement here of 3, sorry. 10 plus 3 is 13 is what I mean. So the total length for B must be 13. Once I've got to that point, I can multiply those numbers. And again, I do 10 times, to me, I would do 13 times 4, which is 52, and then multiply it by 10 and take 52 off, so that I get 468. And then add 360 to find my total volume, which is 828 cubic feet. So there's my Edulastic quiz. Click submit, and I feel great about myself because I got 4 out of 4, and I can feel good about myself for the rest of the day.